Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to our first virtual lesson. Today we're going to be talking about converting fractions to decimals. Okay, so I'd like you to write that down for me. Converting fractions to decimals. And you'll have to excuse my writing because it's kind of hard to write on here. Alright, so there is a relationship between fractions and decimals. As you know, and we've talked about this week, a decimal is just another way to express a fraction. For example, if we have 3/10, okay, the way that you would express that as a decimal is 0.3, right? Because this 3 is in the tenths place, right? This is the tenths place. All right. Another example is if we had, let's see, 7/100ths. Okay, or 7/100. How would we express that as a decimal? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about it before I write it down. And maybe you might even want to pause and try and go ahead and convert it yourself before I show you. Alright, so the way that we would convert 7/100 into a decimal is we would write 7. Right? Now, where does that 7 need to be? It's 7/100ths, right? So that 7 isn't going to be a whole. So we're going to need a 0 in front of there, right? To represent the tenths place. In fact, I need to actually fix that because it's kind of, the numbers are kind of too far apart. Alright, so if we have, look up here, if we have 3/10, alright, the hundredths place is one over from where that 3 is in the tenths place, right? So we're going to need to put a 0 here to hold that tenths place in order for this to be 7/100ths. Okay? Is that what you got when you did it at home? Did you get 0.07? Alright, so that's how we convert a fraction to a decimal. Now, it gets quite a bit more complicated when we get into other kinds of fractions that aren't, other kinds of fractions that are not tenths or hundredths, because it's not as easy then to convert them, right over into a decimal. All right. So we'll be diving into that as well. But just for right now, our focus for right now is just converting fractions to decimals, and this is just for ones that are expressed as tenths and hundredths. Okay. Now let's think of some other examples of fractions that we can convert, fractions that are in tenths and hundredths. Okay, now I'd like us to add a little bit to this time. This time we're going to include whole numbers. Okay, so what if we had 1 and 1/10? How are we going to express this as a decimal? Well, we already know how to express the 1/10, right? Because we just did that a minute ago. So if we have 1/10, that means we have a 1 in the 10th place, right? So that would be right after the decimal point. All right, but we also have this one to think about. Now that is a whole number. It's not a fraction. So this right here is a mixed number because it has both a whole and a fraction. Okay? So a mixed number is going to contain a whole and a fraction. So we have 1 and 1/10. So we want to express that as a decimal. And we've got the 1/10 right here, but we're going to need the whole part too. So 1 and 1/10 is actually 1.1. And just to demonstrate for you how that might look in the real world and actually representing real things, if you had one whole pizza, okay, plus another pizza that was divided into 10 slices, okay, so 1, 2, oops, sorry, 2, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And forgive my drawing, it's just kind of hard to draw in here because I'm using the mouse. Alright, so this pizza is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 slices. And this pizza is a whole pizza, okay? So this number right here, this mixed number, we can look at this and we can say, well, that could represent 1 and 1/10 of a piece of pizza, or of pizza, okay? So think about that. I'm going to circle just one of the pieces here and the whole one here. Okay, so that's 1 and 1/10. Okay? I'll shade in that 1/10 blue. Okay? So we've got 1 and 1/10 of pizza. All right? And the way that we write that as a decimal is 1.1. All right. So now what I want you all to do is I want you to come up with your own mixed number. Okay? So you need to have some kind of a whole and a fraction expressed as tenths or hundredths. Okay? I want you to come up with your own mixed number. Okay? And then I want you to convert it to a decimal. And you're gonna show me that tomorrow in class. All right? So thank you for coming to our first virtual learning math lesson, and I hope that you liked it, and we're going to do lots of fun things with this. All right? And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening.